welcome to the Creative Bias Podcast. I'm Steve Bonner.
Hi there, Steve.
Good to see you. It's been a minute since we've done one of these, but I'd like to just listen to this, our awesome theme music play on for a second or two.
Let everyone pick up the vibes.
That's right. It's a cool disco groove, according to the internet. All right. Are you ready to have some creative, biasy fun?
Yeah, if this music makes me feel like I'm going on a trip. Let's go on this journey together.
What kind of a trip? Like a journey or one of those kinds of trips? Well, I was in Ojai this past weekend, and I was I said to my wife, I was like, you know what I should do for creative bias is we should do like ayahuasca and mushroom retreats because that'll make, people more creative. And I think there's a lot of fun to be had in Ojai in particular with that kind of stuff. So, you never know. Keep checking back on creativebias.com to see if we're offering
Yeah, you never know
ayahuasca.
how we'll
And
evolve.
and just while I've got your attention now, it's creative-bias.com. Um, because we go for the less elegant URLs around here because who needs to be elegant when you're creative?
There you go.
Um, how you doing? What's been going on? Everything good with you, Darla?
Yeah, everything's good. Enjoying summer, enjoying the New York summer vibes. They've
I
been
feel like
very
it's been a
good.
vibe in New York City this summer.
Yeah, they've been really good. I think
Bit of
everything
basketball.
sports, yeah,
Yeah,
sports in
sports has been
general has been
sporting.
doing yeah, a lot of good I feel for just like folks coming together.
I'll
Um
tell you what. Sports does that's one of the greatest things about sports, I think, is it helps bring people together, and I actually not to pivot too quickly into businessy stuff, but I was reading something in, the Harvard Business Review. There's
Mm,
an issue, uh, I don't remember from when it was, but rather recently, I think I bought it in an airport, and it was
okay.
talking about how to build super teams, which is interesting because if you've ever been to creative-bias.com, you'll know that sort of what we're about is building unstoppable teams for unpredictable times. So super teams are of great interest to us. But one of the things that they said is that as people turn to AI chatbots and LLMs for support, and not
Mm,
just like support in terms of like, how do I do my job, but for like, um, reassurance, confirmation, and stuff like that about what they're doing, the ties between people are eroding, and that
mm.
leaves people feeling lonelier and more isolated at work. So they said that it's very important to keep humanity in your teams, and I think that's good lesson for everybody.
Yeah, that's a really interesting insight, actually. I feel like I definitely I don't know if guilty is the right term for it, but have found that the support of AI takes the
Mm,
emotional labor out of
mm,
work.
mm.
Like,
Okay.
where I feel like before pre-AI, if I had to write a, like, quote, unquote, "difficult email" or, like, have a difficult conversation,
Uh
I
huh.
was, like, very anxious about it because it's like, "How do I word this?" So, it, like, comes out and then, like,
Interesting.
we call Copilot Coco. I'm like, "Coco, here's the sitch. Read my emails. How do I reply?" Without, like,
But
you
don't
know
you think that doing that is first of all, whenever Claude or Gemini or whichever one I'm using starts in on the, oh, that's a great insight. Oh, what a brilliant point of view. Oh, what an amazing way to phrase that. I'm like, listen, you
Mm,
obsequious little twat. I know
mhm,
you have been programmed to try to
mhm.
get yourself into my pants. So don't flatter me. But don't do
You can
you, but
change those settings.
I know, but then when I've tried to do that, I don't like it.
I've
I don't
I
like it at all.
I've directed mine to always tell them, like, "Never lie to me, don't just take my side, but also always be gentle."
It is so crazy where we are in human history. Anyway,
Oh,
speaking
man.
of crazy and human history, I frequently reminisce about the past of the internet because I feel
Mm,
like the internet used to be a great place and then it was a crazy place, but still kind of cool. And then it got absolutely deranged, like Tower of Babel. era, vibes during COVID maybe. And I think
Mm,
back frequently to, like, social media posts that people made, um, and one that was, like, ringing in my head a couple of weeks ago maybe, and it
mhm,
comes up from time to time, was this tweet that I originally misremembered, so I went and I looked it up, and I'd actually, if you'll indulge me, I'd
okay.
love to do a dramatic reenactment of the tweet and then the response to the tweet that sort of kicked off this whole thing that I wanna talk about today.
Okay.
And I sent you this, I believe, in a text message. So
Yeah,
if you do you have it up?
let me see. Yes, I do. Yes, I
Okay.
do.
Okay, so, let's see here.
The tweet your research assistant found, in
My
fact.
research assistant did indeed find this
God
tweet.
love her.
So, which, I what I will do is I will play the role of the original poster, the original tweet writer, if that's cool with
Mhm.
you, and then you can take the other side of it. Does that work?
Sure.
Okay, so this was a tweet by a venture capital worker. Her name was Jordan Kong. I'm sure her name still is Jordan Kong. And this came from June 2021. And the tweet said, unpopular opinion, the best thing young people can do early in their careers is to work on the weekends. Somewhat innocuous, maybe, but that tweet got ratioed into the ground. And a representative response to that tweet was as
Do
follows.
not give a company a single second of your unpaid time. Do the bare minimum. Act your wage.
Act your wage. That's a good turn of phrase. Whoever
Yeah.
penned that response gets good copywriting points from me. So I think about that tweet a lot because I think about work a lot and I think about organizations a lot and I think about companies and employees and people's relationships with their jobs a lot, maybe more than any person should. But I'd like to understand and I'd like to ask you, like, do you come down on one particular side of that um, disagreement?
I'm gonna say I think I read the part of that dramatic reenactment that I probably would have actually said in real life, or at least
Got it.
close to it.
Yeah.
I've definitely used the phrase "act your wage" in
I
my
could see you doing
lifetime,
that.
so it's kinda cool to know the origin of
Yeah.
it, if that is in fact the origin of
There you go. So
"act
much
your
of
wage."
culture comes from misremembered tweets. And actually, there's an interesting point about that because and this is kind of a non sequitur, but I just want to say this. There was a reply to that tweet, or there was actually a headline about that tweet that popped up in some business magazine. And the
Okay.
headline said, a venture capitalist said, young people should work every weekend. That is
Right.
not what she said.
No, that is not what
There
she
is a
said.
smidge bit of nuance in that that completely changes sort
Mm,
of the meaning. She didn't say you should work every weekend. She didn't say you
right,
shouldn't go to the bar. She didn't say you shouldn't hang out with your friends. She said the most valuable thing you could do is work on the weekends. So
right.
you would take the no, act your wage point of view on that. Is that correct?
I'm gonna say this. I would say to apply discernment, and I think that I
Mm,
mean, you can say that about anything, right?
sure.
But, like, know when to act your wage and know when it's worth the investment of your time, energy to get your money. Because
Mm,
ultimately, I think that's why a lot of people work to begin with, but also why the phrase "act your wage" comes into play, because the
mm,
idea there is that there's someone else who's maybe making more money than you that's just as capable to complete whatever task. But
yeah.
then there's the non-financial factor of
Mm,
all of this, which is if you're a young person, I think that that's the most important functional part of the statement.
yes.
Like young people starting out in their career, this is an opportunity for you to learn as much as it is for you to make money.
Agreed.
And the learning leads to more money later because the more you know, the more you can do much easier and much quicker, the more practice that you get at it, which sets you up to what? Make more money.
Totally. And I think that, um, probably when that tweet came out, I would agree with the act your wage bit. Um,
Uh-huh.
I used to be in love with a quote from Kim Cattrall from Sex and the City fame,
Mhm.
and she said something like, "I'm at a point in my life where I don't spend even an hour doing stuff I don't want to do." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, that is right on." Like, me either, Kim, I don't wanna do
Idyllic
it
for
either.
sure.
And it's also, like, deranged and misguided. And maybe if you're Kim Cattrall and you've won Emmy Awards or whatever, and I'm sure she has, I don't know if she has, actually, I didn't fact check that, but if you're someone who is as accomplished and in demand as Kim Cattrall, then, yeah, you can do that. But I think that life requires friction to be fulfilling. And I think
Mhm.
that means that if you don't do stuff you don't wanna do in the moment, then you're gonna get kinda, like, soft, to for lack of a better word. You're not gonna
Mm.
be on your toes, you're not gonna learn new skills, and I think that the problem with that tweet and that whole notion of act your wage is that is a sentiment that will keep you exactly where you are. That is a sentiment that will keep you paycheck to paycheck, and it'll be like, "Well, I'm acting my wage. I make $15 an hour or whatever, and so I'm
Mhm.
just gonna give $15 an hour worth of effort." Okay, but do you
Mhm.
wanna make 20 someday? Do you wanna maybe you wanna be the CEO someday?
Mhm.
Then maybe what you should do the extra work, volunteer for the extra projects that are maybe beyond your job description. So you can learn the job, so you can build your own personal brand. But I think the other thing that it helps you do is companies, even good companies when it comes to training, they will train you for the job at hand. They will train you for the tasks that are required of you. But they don't always do a great job of training you for the context that surrounds your company, that surrounds the competitive environment of the industry you're in, that deals with all of the innovations that might be coming to your industry. And I think
Uh-huh.
context is one of the most valuable things you can develop. I remember when I first started in advertising, I would teach myself how to do stuff that I did not need to know how to do. Like I would teach myself how to build regression analyses to see like what are the relationships between different variables as they related to marketing? I was not an analytics person. I was a
Mm.
strategy person. But I was like, but if I know how the analytics people come up with the numbers and they come up with the relationships and they come up with the recommendations, then I'm a smarter strategist.
Right.
Nobody told me to do that. I think that if you take that advice to act your wage, don't give your employer a, a minute more of your time than they're paying you for, that is maybe great if you work in a very transactional setting.
Yeah, I also think it's great if this is a transitional job for you or you don't plan on being there forever. Or if this isn't a career to you, if it's truly a job and it's temporary and you're like, fine, act your wage, right? Because there's no trajectory there.
Let
Mm.
me ask you this though, because you said something about a transitional job, or if it's a job you don't plan on being in for a long time. I'm sure there are a lot of people who have office jobs, 9 to 5 jobs, who want to be actors, want to be comedians, want to be writers, want to be
Right.
painters. But I'd bet that the most interesting people are the people that when they were in those jobs, subscribe to the thought that if it's worth doing something, then it's worth doing it as hard as you can, as well as you can. Like, why half-ass it? And I think, like, I'm interested to know, like, do you buy that or do you think, "Nah, sometimes you just gotta half-ass
Uh,
it?"
I'll do you one better. I lived that. I literally just lived that before going back into corporate, before
Okay.
going to school. I left corporate after doing the most. Um, it was I wouldn't say I think I did from the beginning of my career as well. And so this is where I say, like, the discernment comes in acting your wage, because like, take the money out of it, right? When is going above and beyond serving you
Mhm.
more or equal to the way you're
There it
serving
is.
your employer?
There it is.
And honestly, knowing the difference, especially the way we grew up, and I think um, the pandemic really changed things. It was a turning point for everyone in terms of like assessing what work was and how it needed to be done and to what level, right?
Yep.
But I think in the beginning of my career, I couldn't tell you the difference. I just worked as hard as I could so that I could keep moving up and up and up and up every year. Like, I used to pride myself on the fact that I made sure I got promoted every year, and if I wasn't getting promoted, I was leaving to go make more money somewhere else. Like,
Yep.
that was a hard and fast rule for me, and it served me at that time. But then I also burnt myself the fuck out.
Mhm.
So then I left, and life is still life. Life is still lifing, and I got a
Mhm.
front desk job at a
Right.
gym.
Yeah.
Was I gonna act above my $20 an hour wage? No. I wasn't trying to be manager of that gym. Was I planning to work at that gym fucking forever? No. And I mean, I ended up being there longer than I imagined because I actually found, things that I enjoyed doing there, and then I became a
Right.
trainer, and then that served me. And so that's where I think the maturity of understanding the discernment between when going above and beyond serves me versus when I'm just doing it to serve my employer. It benefited me in my health, it benefited me in my confidence, it benefited me in many other ways that weren't money. And that's why I put
Self-defense.
in the yeah, and that's why I put in the extra time and the extra hours, not because I was getting paid for it, but I found the value in it for me. But in
Yeah.
terms of, like, the tasks that I had to do and, like, sales and stuff, you know, I had enough wherewithal and enough experience working, period, that, like, I didn't have to try that hard,
Yep.
to meet my quota or whatever,
Right.
you
Well, I
know?
think you said something a minute ago that was like low key the perfect reframe of this whole thing. Cause like I keep thinking about this in terms of what do people owe their employer?
Mhm.
And do they owe their employer an amount of effort that is commensurate with the amount of money that they get paid? And how do you make that judgment? Like, at what point do you stop because you're like, okay, I'm off the clock now? But I think the reframe is this: your employer is yourself.
Mhm.
Everything you do when you're working, make it work for you. Make it add up to your own like body of work. Make it make you smarter. Make it teach you new skills that you can take to other places later down the line. Make it teach you things that you could apply to something completely different 5 years from now.
Right.
That's number one. And if you think about life like that, and you give yourself the number one priority and you go, I'm going to do everything I do in this job the best I can do it with the most amount of energy and the most amount of passion because I'm actually working for me, then that's also really good for your employer too. And I think that's the kind of people that teams like is people who will go above and beyond because they know that like there's a dual interest. Interest is the employer's well-being and profitability and growth, but is all of that also enriches the human being who's doing the work, and I think that's where I kinda come down on that whole thing.
But, like, for me, I think the question would be when you're in these situations, um, like, just pause and, like, ask yourself,
Mhm.
"How is me putting this all-nighter in serving me?" And if
Right.
you're good with that.
I also think that there's nuance, like you said, pull an all-nighter, and to me, like
Oh, well,
and
that's just
I know, like, we love to catastrophize, but, like, there's a lot of daylight between pull an all-nighter, which is maybe unhealthy, we've all done them, but
Yeah, yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and take 90 minutes on Sunday to
Mhm.
game plan your Monday. You know what I mean? Like, I can't stand it when people would, like, show up for work flat-footed on Monday, and you're like, "Didn't you think about what we had to get done this week?" It drives me crazy. Where do you come down on that?
Here's the thing. There's no way I don't think about work, sadly. I almost hate to say this. There's no way I don't think about work on the weekend. Like, I know I've thought about work, and I know that I've thought about, like, okay, Monday, like, the first 3 things I know need to get done is, like, I need to send this email, I need to get this report out, and I need to right? But
Yep.
am I gonna log on every weekend to, like, check my calendar to see what meetings I have and, like, no. I'm not doing that because I'll tell you why. I remember the times in my life where I used to stress myself out about it, and I
Yeah.
would do that, and I would make a whole to-do list, like, the Sunday night before the week started, and I had my whole week planned. Guess what?
Right.
Every meeting changed. I ended up not having any meetings on Monday because everybody on Friday doesn't wanna have their meetings on Friday, so they're like, "Oh, let's push this out to Monday," and then we get to Monday, and they're like, "Fuck this, we don't wanna do this." So all our meetings end up happening between Tuesday and Thursday, and once I figured that out, I was like, "You know what? Chill the fuck out."
That there that's fair, but I would push on that because I think that that could be the reality of the place you worked. But for me, if I don't do that, no, I don't have like the game plan and I don't send the email Sunday night as opposed to waiting till Monday, my I get so anxious. I'm like, well, I'm not going to be on the front foot. I'm going to be reacting all week. And I hate that. I hate being passive and reacting all the time.
Mm,
So I don't know. Maybe there's a happy medium there. But I
yeah.
think like, and maybe it's a coping thing, but I think like the more agency you declare for yourself in your career and go, I'm in charge of my to-do list and I'm in charge of like, yeah, maybe you're not in charge of the meeting that your boss puts on your calendar, but I'm in
Right.
charge of what I'm bringing to that meeting. And I'm in charge of the thought that I go through and the preparation I do before I go to that meeting. And yeah, maybe the boss throws you curveballs. And yeah, maybe the boss is unreasonable and maybe it's not logical. That all happens. But at
Mhm.
least you were prepared and you taught yourself stuff and you built muscle. Like we talk about building creative muscle. I think some of the biggest creative muscle people have to build is craft, not art. I think when you talk to people, and they go, I'm not creative, they think it's art. They conflate art and creativity, and it's not the same thing. And I, and
Mhm.
I think you have to go, if I want to be really creative, I got to practice at being productive because you can't be creative if you're not productive. You can have ideas, but if you don't make those ideas happen or you don't understand the mechanisms to make those ideas happen, then you're just an idea person
Right. I think you're also talking about being adaptive. Like, in order to be creative, you need to be adaptive,
for sure.
and
I
that's
agree.
that's a whole skill mastery in itself.
Maybe we'll do our next episode on being adaptive, but sadly,
Adaptivity. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel like we've come to the end of this episode. Although we're going to do a new feature for this is the first episode of what I would consider season 3 of the Creative Bias podcast. Um, what have you read? What have you watched
What have I been
uh,
into?
lately that you think people would be interested to hear about?
Um, I'm becoming obsessed with a new ology mythology. I feel like I've had my well, I'm never gonna get my fill of psychology and astrology, but we've moved on to mythology, and, I'm obsessed with Persephone and all of the, like, characters of the underworld, and apparently I need to go see Hadestown,
Mm,
the musical, because apparently I will love it according to all my Broadway friends.
okay.
So, looking forward to that, but
Was
yeah,
any of
I
this
think
kicked off by Matt Damon's in some sort of
The Odyssey,
yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, yes and no. We talked about the Odyssey and mythology a lot, when I was in my program, um, at Columbia, but, no, I think I'm more actually curious about connecting the dots. I don't know, it gives a more well-rounded picture
Yeah.
to understand how we move through the world, why we do things the way that we do, and where the origins of those, like, concepts and ways of thinking started,
Mhm.
and it's actually sometimes in a much more beautiful way. I don't
Mm.
know. It's like, I guess, I don't know, poetic.
I saw a movie that I think everybody needs to see if they haven't already,
Ooh.
just because I think it's an incredibly well-made movie, because for 3 days after I watched it,
Mhm.
I was like, "I can't decide if I hated it or if I only hated the second half of it or if I actually love the whole thing." And the
Okay.
movie was Eddington with Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, Emma Stone is in it,
Okay.
and others. It I'm not gonna get into it, I'm not gonna do a review. It's such a well done movie that
Mm.
I'm still, like, working through in my head, like,
Pretty killer cast as well.
it's an amazing cast. Ari
Yeah.
Aster, directed it. It's a fantastic movie. Um,
Okay.
it'll shake you. I also mentioned the Harvard Business Review thing I'm reading. I got a
Oh,
book,
yeah.
that I'm, like, maybe a quarter of the way into, and it's called Mind Wandering,
Okay.
um, How Your Constant Mental Drift Can Improve Your Mood and Boost Your Creativity. And
Mm.
I think we'll unpack some of what's in this book in a future episode, but it's a really good read so far.
Cool.
Um, and it's by um, Moisha Barr, who is the former director of the Cognitive Neuroscience Lab at Harvard Medical School. Um, so he kind of knows what he's doing.
Fancy.
Yeah, very fancy. Okay, on that, I think we've said all there is to say for this episode of the Creative Bias Podcast. Any final thoughts?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's Sunday night.
Sunday
I'm
night,
gonna go
time to
prepare
get
for
lit.
all my meetings on Monday.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Get yourself
I'm gonna
ready.
take a nap first until 9 AM.
Okay. You do that. You take care of yourself. You don't have to work all night. You don't have to
No.
pull all-nighters,
No.
but you gotta care and you gotta invest in yourself.
Amen,
All
brother.
right?
Okay.
From the Creative Bias Podcast, thank you guys for listening, and we will talk to you again real soon.
Bye.